Man, I got treasure troves of poor decision making. Treasure troves of poor decision making. But let's move on. At 24 years old, and I can remember this date, March 5th, 2004, I get arrested with a half a pound of purple haze. Let me set the context here. I'm Essex County's own. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, y'all feel me bigging up Jersey almost every episode because we just like that. There's a sweet swag about us in Jersey as opposed to our cousins in New York City. We got club. They ain't really doing the club. You know, we got a little joyful. We got grass. We got grass over here, man. It's live. But 24 years old, I'm talking about a successful rookie campaign, NFL Special Teams Rookie of the Year, Giants Rookie of the Year. I mean, I was one of those few random rookies. I don't say random, but it wasn't random at the time. Coming off spot duty, 100-yard receiving game, coming off the bench against Philadelphia. Not bad for a dude that they barely gave a chance to make the roster. Not bad, you know, like he's just a special teams guy. I was looking to break those ceilings and barriers, but I still didn't have a sense of identity and purpose beyond the game. So after Jim Fossil hit me with about $10,000 worth of fines, yeah. Now, people have heard about fine culture in NFL. That's back in 2004. Now, he actually said, hey, Tyree, you know, I'm going to hit you with $10,000 worth of fines, but it really should be 40. You know, I was a train wreck. I should have got hit for $40,000 worth of fines because of how reckless my rookie year was off the field. But at the time, I'm just like, listen, I got the best purple, smoking the best bud. I'm about to get this money back. So on March 4th, I believe it was, got pulled over, half a pound of purple, coming from got pulled over Fort Lee, New Jersey, coming from Harlem, coming from uptown. Big shout to Dipset. Purple haze, not purple rain, purple haze. But nah, man, so that was, what was the lessons learned from that? The lessons learned is some of the familiar lessons, but when you get it for yourself, right? And for me, that was like an ESPN moment. Back in the day when ESPN was just the centerpiece of sports, there was the ticker. I could kind of envision my name, David Tyree, arrested on marijuana possession. It was just like in my brain, it was just running through. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. And I wasn't headline status, so I'm not going to sit up there acting like Stuart Scott was going to be announcing my arrest. But I could see that ticker just flowing and rolling. David Tyree arrested on marijuana possession, blah, 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 blah. And like I said, having a successful campaign for the New York Giants, what was the lesson? The 24 years of success, good name, being a captain at Montclair High School, captain at Syracuse University, all the years that it takes to build that respectful reputation, becoming an inspiration amongst my hometown, becoming like a pillar in your community, one of reputation and respect. All that goes away in a moment. All that goes away in a moment. So for the years that it takes to build a good name, it only takes one moment of tremendous indiscretion and lack of consideration about the cost of your decision making to completely stockpile that reputation, and you have to build from the bottom up. Now, here's how I know it takes years. Every year we would play Philadelphia twice a year, right? Now, Philly is known for having some of the wildest fans. So the year after I get arrested, you know, I'm kind of like, at the time, you had to be a beast to be recognized. Like, I'm a dude filling the roster. I'm happy to get my check at the time. Second year, $305,000 was my second year salary. So yeah, man, we feeling good back on the roster down in Philly, and you know, I get to the end zone warm-ups. Hey Tyree, yeah, hey Tyree. You got any purple? You got any marijuana? You got any marijuana? Yo. Now, okay, I'm like, oh, Philly, they off the chain. Guess what? Next year, 2005, same end zone. Tyree, hey, you got any joint? I need an L. I got some Phillies right here, Tyree. Guess what? Next year, for 3 to 4 years. Those hecklers in Philly was on me about that. I'm like, damn, nigga, I'm renewed, dog. All these spot like it. So at the end of the day, it takes years. You have to do something significant on the other side of the barrel for people to reframe their image when there's a stain on your name. I'm talking about something where that brings some. And everybody has their own ecosystem that it impacts, right? And I think this is a silver lining that it's never not worth reconsidering that every decision that you make affects others, right? There are no isolated decisions. Every decision that you make, good, bad, or indifferent, is going to affect others within your sphere of influence, your ecosystem, those that are connected to you. It affects your direct family. It affects your extended family. So the decisions that we make as athletes affects the club. That's why they have public relations, right? Right. So everybody's managing their reputation. Why is that important? I used to listen, man, character is the central thing. And I think actually it is. It's still to this day. You build your life based off the values that you believe. And if those values are solid, foundational, and anchored in truth, then your character will be above reproach. But even more so, your reputation is what others say about you. The importance of your reputation is that your value is determined by what others say about you. And that's another lesson from some of these failures. Your value is determined by what others say about you. You want to know how that plays out every single year? Well, that's the power of media, period, right? And even we're looking at this right now in sports. We could talk about if, depending on when we drop this, well, by what others say about an individual actually matters, right? So let's talk about an athlete and maybe their injury report. They're injury prone, right? Now, every injury is not the same, but even your availability, what they're saying about you will affect your value. You could be the premier athlete. I think Saquon Barkley was one of the best Giants that we had recently. But his injury report and his reputation for not being available at maybe the clip that was desired probably affected his departure from the New York Football Giants, right? His injury, his lack of availability. There's nothing you could say that about his character as far as reputation that doesn't fit the face of the franchise. But what others say, right? Based off of his availability and what others say, that affects your value. So that's always a lesson. There are no isolated decisions. None of us live our lives in a vacuum. And, Charles Barkley is one of the greatest basketball players, but he's well known for making, hey, I'm not a role model. Yeah, you are by default. Why? Because your life influences others, right? Just by default and having the influence that you have. Now, what you're trying to do is abdicate that influence in light of the immaturity. You don't want others to follow your pattern. And you can say that, but you are. The moment that you assume a role of influence, your decision-making will affect others directly and indirectly.